is left standing here at Players' Championship 4. Some not particularly surprising names, the likes of Chris Dobie or Damon Heta, the number 3 seed. But others more surprising, and perhaps none more so than Christian Perez of the Philippines. Perez, the first Filipino player to win a tour card. That was the start of last year, but his opportunities were limited. He had problems getting a visa sorted. But that appears to be okay now. And it looks like the man from Coronadal City is able to commit and play on a regular basis. Now, it didn't go well in the opening doubleheader in Wigan. He played dreadfully in the opening day. Lost a narrow game that was slightly better on day 2. He was a first-round loser yesterday, but averaged more than his opponent. There was improvement there, but he wasn't winning any games. And then all of a sudden today, he managed to overcome Danny Lorby in the first round, then beat Martin Schindler, then beat Ricardo Pietreczko. That's 2 of the top 3 from Germany, and then beat Gerwin Price. Now you'll see the pace of this game is going to be quite slow. Perez is not a quick player, and that may have been a factor in his victory over Price. We know that the Iceman does not deal well with a slow-pace game. That's something he's going to have to figure out, because it's not down to the opponent to play at a pace that suits you.
45.
Raymond van Barneveld, the 5-time world champion, has won 4 games to get to this stage. He started brilliantly with victories over Mensur Suljovic and Adam Smith-Neale. The last 2 rounds, he's won them. And he's won them for the loss of only 4 legs, but he's only averaged around that 90 mark.
100.
And if he's there again, then Perez, well, he could beat him and find his way through to the semi-finals. The winner to face either Damon Heta or Brendan Dolan. Dolan's beaten Ryan Searle. Searle averaged close to 110, and Dolan still won it in the last leg decider.
$60. 60.
Barney already looking exasperated after failing to find a big treble in the first 3 visits. I'll tell you what, we're only halfway through. We're not even halfway through the first leg.
41.
And they're both shaking their head and throwing their hands around. Could be a long old quarter-final, this.
60. 40.
And Perez has failed to leave himself on a finish from 215. Barney's playing on a Yorkshire board. He hasn't hit a big treble yet. As starts go, this is inauspicious. There are other words. Oh, big treble!
99.
99. A positively titanic score in the context of this opening leg. Barney's hit a big treble. Let joy be unconfined.
105.
And he's down to a finish. So there's pressure on it. Could stay there for double 18. Or you could just stand around and have a think. Oh, you lucky boy. He has nearly busted his score
40.
there. It should be nowhere near that treble 20. He is very fortunate, Christian Perez, not to be back on 76. Barney has a dart at the bull.
84.
Well, he's nearly won that leg with his highest score of the leg. But misses the bullseye entirely. Perez back on double 18.
Game shot.
Double 9 does the job. That is a 23 dart leg. Things will improve. They must improve.
60.
Maybe not for Raymond.
95.
I doubt Gerwin Price is watching this, but I can imagine what he'd be thinking if he was, having lost to Perez in the previous round.
100.
I think it's a safe assumption to make that we'll probably know the other 3 semi-finalists by the time this game
100.
reaches its conclusion.
$100.
Perez, traditionally on 306, he'd start on the 19s, but a lot of these players from Asia are soft tip players who've been converted to steel tip, and the soft tip board does the counting for
60.
you. And so when it comes to the finer points, or even the basic points of counting in steel tip darts, they're occasionally a little elusive.
140.
Could of course gone on the 20s because he believes it's a tactical decision. It's a negative shot to move away from that, but I doubt it. Well, they are both disgusted with their own games here. I'm not really sure what they expect anybody else to think about them.
60. $61.
Barney knocks off 61 to leave himself on top, so he'll get 3 clear darts to level the score up at 1 apiece. And you'd probably say that 1-1 would be a fair scoreline from what we've seen so far, but this could change things.
100.
All around the board we go.
35.
Christian Perez taking a glug of water like a man who's just traversed the desert for 3 months to prepare himself for this shot of 86. Good dart, double 16.
78.
Going to follow it with another one in the double. Don't miss the big number, as we call it. Well, he's done that bit. Now it's double 2.
Game shot.
1 apiece with a comparatively electrifying 20 dart leg.
$140.
I believe that's the first ton 40 we've had in the game.
$81. $140.
Now then, Christian Perez is starting to get his act together. Raymond van Barneveld just trying to inject a bit more pace into the throw, see if that changes things.
$100.
Alarmingly low darts, a couple there from Christian Perez. Don't know what Perez's routine has been like. I don't know if he's
140.
been out here in the UK since last week or whether he's flown back over. Where's he looking now? The 11 segment and the ball? He doesn't know. Double 18 it'll be then. Nothing wrong with that. Oh,
Game
nothing
shot.
wrong with that at all. That is a 12 dart leg. Proper stuff from Christian Perez, who's arrived in this game. Raymond van Barneveld.
140.
Maybe a game of darts might break out here.
$100. 60.
Peter Wright's averaging 103.
55.
He's 3-2 up on Scott Williams. Chris Dobie has raced into a 4-0 lead against Dirk van Dijvenbode,
100.
who looked like he was back but is now averaging 82, so maybe he's not. Damon Heta 3-1 up on Brendan Dolan. The winner of that faces the winner of this one.
$100.
Well, that last start was a lot smoother than the previous two, and it finds the mark. Smooth has never been a problem for Raymond van Barneveld.
130.
Looking good to hold his throw again and level up at 2 apiece.
$93.
Single 18 for tops. Well, he gets the treble. Double
67.
2 is not found. Now that could be a problem for Raymond van Barneveld. He didn't want the treble in that instance. Sometimes players do go for the treble when a single would do. But he could find himself messing around on double 1 here. 73 left, so treble 19 would be the obvious one. Oh, treble 11, where's he looking? No, 13s. Well, it was an option. Not a particularly good one.
Game shot.
Double 2 gets the leg in the bag for Raymond van Barneveld. It's all going with throw here, one way or another. Perez, in one of his brief appearances on the Pro Tour last year, having got his tour card, he did beat the likes of Rob Cross and had a run to a quarter-final. It was his very first event, in fact.
85.
We didn't see much of him for the rest of the year after that. Obviously, as a bit of a trailblazer for Philippines darts, and it is a hotbed of darts over in the Philippines. A lot of good players over there.
66.
It would be good to see him give it a real crack, just to see how big an impact he can have. But that is the first 180 of the game, and it goes to Raymond van Barneveld. Barney himself, a man who is obviously an iconic figure in the sport.
120.
Prolific title winner, but not in recent years. Did win immediately after emerging from retirement. Picked up
58.
one of these titles. It was in Bolton, but he hasn't won one since. Yeah, no problem with that at all. 180 for Christian Perez. Leaves himself 35, but the other alternative was to go for the treble 19s, which would leave double 19 if he hit it. So
92.
he might have wanted to split from there anyway. Good dart, leaves double 16. And he gets it. 3-2, still on throw. Say that was a good dart, the single 3. It was on the 19 side, because if he had strayed just to the left, and it was in the 19, that still leaves double 8. It's a sensible place to aim for.
55.
You've got 35 left. Gives yourself a margin for error. If you miss on the other side into the 17s, that's not as helpful. Leaves you double 9.
140.
A little smile breaks out across his face, Christian Perez. Things are starting to improve. His average has climbed up towards
47.
90, which after the first couple of legs of this game is some going.
140.
It's a second dart lost to the floor. He does have a rigid flight in his dart, Christian Perez, and they do go in quite flat, the angle of entry.
47.
So if he does catch that flight, you would think that there is a danger that his darts are more likely to bounce out and end up on the floor than some players.
$134.
Decent switch to the 18s. Raymond van Barneveld in trouble here.
140.
It's a good visit, but Perez has stolen the darts, looking for a breaker throw. So it's a real mix with Perez. Some of those darts are quite smooth, that throwing action. Some are quite jerky. It's quite violent. His whole body seems to go.
100.
Doesn't lend itself to being able to do the same thing over and over again. Wonder if the long day is taking its toll a little bit. Over to the 18s. And the switch works again. So now double 16.
90.
Worries the wire. Raymond can't find the treble.
60.
Still can't find it. Perez for a breaker throw and a two-leg lead.
Game shot.
He deserves it. He's been the better player. 2 up and 2 away from a semi-final spot.
$45. $140. $21.
Well, again, it's caught a little bit of the flight there, and it's just, I assume it's caught the flight. It's either that or that throwing action has just seen the dart kind of going sideways.
60.
It's not taken in the board. But despite the fact that Christian Perez has lost 3 darts to the floor in this game, he is still beating Raymond van Barneveld. Because there is very little coming back from Barney. I can tell you that Chris
45.
Dobie is our first semi-finalist. He is through in the other half of the draw. The man who whitewashed Michael van Gerwen earlier on this afternoon on this streaming board
57.
will face either Peter Wright or Scott Williams, who are 4-all. Damon Hitter is 5-3 up on Brendan Dolan.
140. $32.
Well, Raymond van Barneveld, he's getting worse in this leg. Started with a ton 40, then 60, then 57, now 32.
$100.
Perez is first to a finish. Barney chuntering away to himself, throwing his hands up in
58.
frustration, with the demeanour of a man who's accidentally run over his own dog. Where's he looking? What's the plan? Oh, double 18 for a 150. Oh, Christian Perez with a 150 checkout. He's a leg away for the semi-finals. And there's a bit of purpose in the step now from Christian Perez.
60.
Barney's hangdog expression has not changed. That's the perfect dart for him.
100.
He doesn't make any use of it.
$44.
Well, Raymond van Barneveld is obviously frustrated. It was a woeful start to the match from the pair of them. Couple of legs in, they're averaging 70 each. And Raymond van Barneveld has not taken the opportunity, but Perez has managed to get to grips with the game and he's got better. His average has climbed into the 90s now.
100.
He has already beaten 2 of the top 3 from Germany, 1 of the top American players, Gerwyn Price, the Welsh #1 and the world #5, and now he might be about to add a 5-time world champion to his list of conquests today and reach the semi-finals of a ranking event in the PDC. The first player from the Philippines so to do.
47.
He could come down for the 19s here. That would be the sensible play, and that's exactly why. Oh, he somehow managed to bully his way through to the treble 20. Didn't have much room to aim for. Christian Perez is a good darts player. There's no doubt about that. I'm not really sure his counting and his board management is up to snuff with the best in the world. But it's been too good for Raymond van Barneveld today, and that is a 13-darter to win it. Christian Perez from the Philippines is a semi-finalist in PDC darts. He's beaten Price, he's beaten Barney, he's beaten Pikachu and Schindler. He started the day with a victory against Danny Lorby and a 91 average, enough to completely brush aside Raymond van Barneveld. He is through to the semi-finals, and we could have a Filipino winner here in Leicester today.